please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give in this matter be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may be seated.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Oh, hello.
Will you please state your name and spell it for the record?
JoAnn Fiedler, J-O-A-N-N, Fiedler, F-I-E-D-L-E-R.
And Ms. Fiedler, I don't need to know your specific location of address, but can you give us the city that you live in?
West Bend.
And how old are you, ma'am?
How old am I?
Yep.
56.
There isn't one, I guess. Sorry. Are you employed?
Yes.
And what do you do? I don't need to know where you work. Just can you tell me what
I
you
work
do?
in manufacturing.
You were, if I'm right, interviewed by the FBI as it relates to the incident on August 25th, 2020. Is that right?
Correct.
Now, if I could ask you, in the summer prior to August 25th of 2020, there's been conversations and testimony about civil unrest throughout the country. Was that something that you were paying attention to?
Yes.
And can you tell the jury what you were thinking about it, what, if anything, you did about it, things like that?
Well, I understood when BLM wanted to march, we were all with them and everything, but then they started destroying their own communities, and I didn't believe in that. That really struck me hard. And then the 71-year-old business owner that got beat down, that bothered me a lot. Veterans bother me a lot, and the elderly bother me a lot. And children, of course, too, but that just didn't sit right with me. And you keep hearing everybody always saying, somebody's got to stand up, somebody's got to stand up.
So was there anything based on your feelings that you did in relation to that?
Can you repeat that?
Sure. Was there anything that you had actually done? Any groups that you started, anything you participated in as it relates to kind of what you were observing?
Yes. Actually, we started a patriot group. It's United Citizens for Patriotism. We wanted to show support for the country, support for the police, because they were asking to be defunded, support for all the emergency workers that were going out there into these riots, cleaning up, firemen. So just everybody that serves their country, our community services, and just show support for them. And we just stood out with our flags to let everybody know that, we were thinking of them, we were there for them. We tried to do food drives. We tried to get the fire department involved. We got the police involved, but everything was limited, or they weren't able to bring out their trucks to do community things because of COVID.
And prior to August 25th of 2020, did you know who Kyle Rittenhouse was?
No.
Had you ever had, to your knowledge, any contact with him whatsoever?
No, none.
And so this group that you had talked about, that you had stood out and kind of waved flags, were there other people, relative or as it relates to this case, that were part of that group?
Yes. There was Dustin and Danton.
Okay.
So me and Danton more or less started it with another guy in the area, and then just more people came up to see what was going on and just talking to them and what we were standing there for. We met Dustin that way.
Does the name Ryan Balch mean anything to you?
Yeah, he had walked up one day when we were standing, I think 3 weeks or end of July, beginning of August, walked up in his military uniform and started talking to the guys. I didn't really have communication with him at that time, but he was talking to the guys and made friends with them.
So if I could then kind of direct your attention to 24th, 25th of August, was there a time then that you had made a decision that you were going to come to Kenosha?
Yes.
And when was that, if you know, when was that decision made?
Just after seeing all the violence and the fires going on, I just got a phone call and said, hey, we're going to go down and help protect businesses. Do you want to come along?
And what date was that, if you remember?
I think it was the 25th, correct?
I'm not. You tell me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's the 24th or the 25th.
Okay. And based on that call that you got, was there some kind of plan put in place or some discussion about what you were going to do?
Not that I'm aware of. I just know we were driving down.
Okay. And who were you driving with?
I was driving with Danton Merritts.
And were there, so it was just the two of you?
Just the two of us to start, yes.
Okay, so you said just to start, were there other people that are relevant to this case that were part of that?
Yes, we met up at a park and ride and met Dustin and Ryan.
And that's Ryan Balch.
Yes.
And if you know, at about what time do you think that you met up with them at the park and ride?
5-ish.
Okay, so 5-ish on the 25th?
Yes.
And did you know of any specific location you were going or plan that was in place on what you were going to do when you got there?
I didn't really have the specifics. No, I didn't know of any plan.
So to be fair, you drive down with Danton Mertz. Where do you go in Kenosha? Do you remember?
Yeah, we came down Sheridan, and we wound up at the car source on 63rd.
And was that just you and Danton, or was Ryan Balch and Dustin also there?
With Ryan, Balch, and Dustin. They were in front of us. We were following them, so
And
they pulled in there.
Sorry. And to your knowledge, was going to Car Source just kind of happenstance? Meaning, was it a plan that was in place, Tino?
To me, it was just a happenstance.
And about what time do you think you got there?
It had to be at least 7-ish if I estimate the time, how long it takes to get here.
And when you got there, who was there?
Nick was there. He had the...
No, hold on. Nick is Nick Smith?
Yes.
Did you know Nick Smith before you got there?
No.
Okay, so you met Nick Smith that day.
Yes.
Okay, so Nick Smith is there.
Yes.
Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I seen him. We got out. He came up, introduced himself, and then we met. What Nick introduced us to was the owner of Car Source.
Okay. And do you recall that person's name?
I didn't. He gave me like the full Indian name. I wouldn't be able to repeat that. I don't recall.
Okay. When he was introduced to you, did he do anything? Did he just shake your hand? Did he just look at you? What did he do?
Oh yeah, he was happy to see us. He was crying. He was thanking us, and I even commented. I heard you had cars that burned down, because we did drive by that when we came up to that business. And he, he had told us that he had over 100 cars that were burnt that night. So,
No, I'm sorry. When you said he was crying, there's crying, happy crying, sad crying. Do you recall?
no, it was sad crying. I don't know if it was sad or happy. I know he was happy to see us, but I know he's sad about his 100 cars, the situation.
So, Exhibit 30, which is this picture, I just want to make sure if I'm right, you're the person third from the left.
Yes.
Is that right? You have the white hat on or
Yes.
helmet on?
Yes.
And is the person that's on the left of that picture, is that the person who you would say was crying? And is that who that
Yes,
is?
that's the man that Nick introduced as the owner.
And after you were introduced to the owner, what happened after that? Did he stay? Did he leave, if you know?
He just disappeared. I didn't see where he went. He just disappeared. We parked our cars and just met back there then.
Now, is this the location that you met Kyle Rittenhouse at?
Yes.
And I think you had said you had met him before, but was he there when you got there?
No.
So he showed up after you were already there?
Yeah, I believe we actually took 2 pictures before Kyle showed up.
And if you recall, of those people, who did he show up with, if you remember?
Dominic, which I think is on the right of Kyle.
The guy that's on the far right?
Yep.
Your far right?
Yes.
And was there, so after you take this picture, is there kind of a plan in place on what you all are going to do?
Just from what I remember, Nick wanted to split us up. He mentioned there was 3 businesses, and he wanted to split us all up, and one group go here, one group go there.
Did the person on the far left, the owner of the car source, did he ever tell you to leave? Did he ever say that to you?
No, not at all.
Did he ever tell you that you were trespassing and he didn't want you there?
No, not at all.
So you leave, and where do you go?
We walked up to the 59th in Sheridan business. It was kind of kitty corner where he had all the cars burnt down the night before.
Okay, and who, if you recall, went with you?
That was Nick and me and Dustin and Danton and Ryan. I think there was another kid in there which I don't recognize, and then Kyle and Dominic.
Now, if you know, was there any discussion about? You said that the owner said, or somebody said there were 3 locations. Was there a plan to protect all 3? Were you just assigned to one? Do you know how that kind of played out?
As far as I recall, it was just to protect the one on the 63rd in Sheridan, and the other one was on the 59th in Sheridan.
And you went to the 59th?
Yes.
So when you get to the 59th in Sheridan, are you armed?
Yes.
Okay. And what are you armed with?
I carry a .380 pistol.
Okay. So in that picture, is that pistol somewhere on your person?
I don't know if it was yet.
But you're not disputing that you had one?
No, I'm not disputing that at all.
Okay. And when you go to the 59th Street car source, where are you located? Meaning, we've heard testimony about people on the roof, people on the ground. Where are you?
Oh, I'm on the ground.
And can you tell us who else is on the ground with you?
Kyle, Dustin, Ryan. Yeah, the 4 of us were on the ground.
So how close to you is Mr. Rittenhouse at the 59th Street address?
Maybe 5 or 10 feet to my left.
So at that location, he's standing near you for at least a portion of the night?
Yes.
And when you see him at that location and he's with you, what is he doing? He being Mr. Rittenhouse.
To begin with, or?
Well, you guys are just there on 59th as the night is progressing, right?
Yeah.
Is he doing anything? Is he staying there? Is he leaving the property? What is he doing?
No, he was staying there. We were all staying there.
Okay. There's been conversations about, and I'll ask you if you look at that picture, there's that little orange box in front of him. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Was there any time during that evening that you saw him doing anything other than simply standing there?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Can you tell us what you saw?
Yeah, I'm sorry. There was other people that did walk by before, like, the bigger crowd of the protesters came through, and he was offering medic services. We had a girl walk up that, I don't know if she broke her ankle or twisted her ankle, that he actually helped bandage her up so she could walk out because her boyfriend had to kind of carry her.
And when he did that, when he was doing that, did he ever ask you for any assistance in terms of, as it relates to his firearm?
Yes.
And what did he ask you to do?
He just asked me to hold on to his gun, and I did.
So he would take it off, if I'm hearing you right, he would take it off, and then while he was working on whoever had walked by and asked for help.
Yes.
And can I have a picture of Cordy? That evening, do you remember seeing the man in the front?
Yes,
Okay, I'm talking about the man with the red shirt on.
correct.
Okay. Did you know who he was that night?
No,
You didn't know his name?
no,
Okay. Do you remember him from that night?
very distinctly.
Okay. Can you tell the people on the jury why you remember him?
I remembered seeing him with his red shirt, and the thing that caught me was the green earring. And this was when BLM had just come down in front of us, and there was some other gentlemen that were talking with Ryan. They were talking, things were calm. And then I saw him, and it was kind of a back and forth because I had some of the female protesters that were standing in front of me taunting me. So they were doing Black Lives Matter, right? And I just wasn't taking a side. I was just there to protect a business. So I would look and survey and go to them, and I would look and survey, and I would see Rosenbaum standing there. And I saw the plastic bags in his back pocket. I didn't know what it was. And then, can I go on?
Well, is there anything that he had said that evening that you took notice of or would remember?
Yeah, that's the part I was kind of getting to is, I know you guys call him Mr. Yellow Pants, and that's kind of what we called him. He jumped up on the car, and everybody started screaming, "Get off the car," and Black Lives Matter was screaming, and he was shouting, and Rosenbaum started shouting back at us that he's gonna, pardon me, Judge, for saying this and everybody else, but he was gonna kill us motherfuckers, motherfucking niggers, and cut our hearts out.
The gentleman on the screen there said that?
Yes,
Okay.
multiple times.
And what was your group's response to that, if any, when he said that?
None. You kind of are frozen at the verbiage and the threats coming out of him. I mean, the whole night was quite shocking, but we didn't really do anything. We just kind of stood there. You have to ignore that.
Was there anything else that you saw him do that you remembered?
Yeah, Yellow Pants was screaming. I saw that. I was going back to the ladies that were taunting me and going back and looking at him. And as I looked at him, I saw his arm go up and like he lobbed something. And then within seconds, my eyes started watering, my nose started watering, I started coughing. I didn't know what a chemical bomb was. I didn't know. All of a sudden, I just heard guys screaming, "Chemical bomb, chemical bomb." And I just pulled my mask up.
Did you see him specifically throw something?
Yes.
Do you remember what it... Oh, let's continue this way. Do you remember what I'm not asking that you say he threw a bomb. I'm asking if you know what was in his hand that he threw.
Yeah, he went back and threw like that.
Do you remember what he threw? Meaning, did he throw what was it?
I don't recall.
Okay. That evening, did you, while he was in your purview, your sight, did you see Mr. Rittenhouse threaten anyone?
Oh, no.
Did you see him point his gun at anyone?
No.
Was there anyone there that had, I guess, strike that. After you see Rosenbaum, and he does what you say he does, do you see Kyle stay there, or does he leave that location?
It was later in the evening after the police finally moved him down. We were all standing outside because we kind of thought it was over. And then you just heard the ruckus going on down by the gas station. I think it's the Ultimate. And then we heard gunshots. And that's when Kyle and Ryan and Dustin and Lurk, I think his nickname was Lurk or Work.
Okay.
They left.
So, Did you see? Well, I'll ask it to you this way. So you heard? Are you telling me that you heard gunshots and then Kyle left?
Yes.
And if you recall, how close in time was that to about 11:50, if you know?
Oh,
I'll ask it to you this way. How close was it in time, you know now, that Kyle ended up being chased by Mr. Rosenbaum and shooting him?
oh,
right?
that was way before.
Way before?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm asking you is, later in the night, was there a time that you were aware that Kyle tried to get back to you
Oh, yes.
and couldn't?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's been a while. So we did see him because I was standing right along the wall, so I was like the first person when you came up to the business. So I was standing out front and I was watching because the Bearcats were all right there by the intersection and the gas station was right on the other corner. So he did come back. He had his hands in the air and he even said, "I'm working over at that business over there." I could hear him telling the police that. And they told him, "No, turn around, you can't go through, you have to get back." And we were even yelling, "Let him through, let him through."
Did you see him then turn around and go back?
Yeah, I thought he was going to go back to the Ultimate gas station. It looked like he was going over there, so...
And is that the last time before the shooting that you saw him?
Yeah.
Now, from your location, you don't see what happened with Mr. Rosenbaum, just let me finish, with Mr. Rosenbaum, Mr. Huber, and Mr. Grosskreutz, right?
Yes, correct.
Do you see Kyle after that?
Yes, I do.
When?
I think after everything had happened, he had come back up. I heard from the guys on the roof, they're like, "Open the door, it's Kyle." So I opened up, because we had to keep the front door locked. I opened up the door and he kind of came running in and kind of fell into me, and there was a chair right there, so he sat down there. I saw him after everything had happened.
How did he look to you?
Totally in shock.
Can you give me some physical descriptors that would make...
Yes, I'm sorry.
Kind of
he was pale, shaking, kind of stuttering, stammering his words. He was sweating.
Do you recall him saying anything?
Yes, he had come in and he looked at me. He said right out that he had shot someone, and he kind of sat down in the chair and he was looking for his brother. He's asking for his brother Dominic, and he sat down. I remember him pulling his hair back, and he's pulling it back really hard, and just his comment was, "My God, my life might be over." And we're just like, "Okay, calm down."
After he said his life might be over, did anybody ask him anything about the circumstances, about what had happened?
Yeah, Dustin had come in at that time, and Dustin had commented. Dustin was kind of...
I'm going to check to
Yeah,
your
don't.
sake.
Fair enough. I don't want to know what Dustin said.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. I'll ask it to you this way then. Did Kyle respond to anything that was said?
Yes,
What was that?
that was that he had to.
After he said that, do you know, did you stay? Did you leave? What happened?
No, he wanted his brother Dominic, and I know Dominic was on the roof. I took his gun. Like I said, he was just shaking, so I took his gun. I ran out back. I set his gun on one of the trucks out back, and then I went up the ladder and I called the guys and I yelled, "Dominic, get down here." So he came down, and when I came back in, they were talking. And
my last question or two is, you had said that you had climbed up a ladder to get up on the roof.
yeah,
You just said that. Okay. Do you know where those ladders came from?
no, I know we went into business when we first got there, and they were all in the back. So it's like a building, and then it's like a back parking lot that's fenced in.
Okay.
And in that back fenced-in areas where they have the sheds and all, and Nick went in there and pulled everything out, and that's how the guys have got up on the roof in the back.
During the evening, throughout the evening, Was there a period of time that, other than doing medic work or medical work, that you saw Kyle doing anything else to kind of assist in the community?
Yeah, actually, me and Kyle ran. Excuse me. We ran. I think it's north. Is it this way up Sheridan? Can't see a
So
map.
hold on.
Sorry, my direction is a little off right now.
When you point, something I would do. So it's, if you can, are you going this way?
Oh, there it is. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm moving that. That would be, the parties will agree. I think that's
Yeah.
fine.
Oh, yeah. Towards St. James Church.
All right.
So we ran up there because there was they were starting a fire on the the plywood doors. They had covered up all the doors, and they actually started, or whatever you call it, fluid, whatever you want to start a fire. They threw it all over that door, and we're trying to start the front door of the church on fire. So me and Kyle had actually run up to that area to try to put the fire out, but people that were running along with the protesters had gone up there and put the fire extinguisher out, and then we just walked back.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ms. Fiedler, that last thing you told us about with the church, neither you nor the defendant actually put out any fire at the church.
No, not at the church, no.
Someone that was with the protesters did that.
I believe they're with the protesters.
You spoke to the FBI on August 31st, 2020. Is that right?
I'm not sure about the date, but yes, I spoke with the FBI.
About 6 days after this all happened?
Yeah, probably, yes.
And you told them that you contacted the defendant's mother the morning after all this happened and told her to be strong. Is that right?
Probably, yes.
You also said that after this incident, you had been in contact with the defendant's attorney. Is that right?
No, I read that, and I don't know what he meant by that, because I wasn't. I've never spoke to him.
So you've read your statement to the FBI.
Yes.
That was a statement that was a summary of what you said to Special Agent Tim Walther on August 31st, 2020. Is that right?
Yes.
And in that summary, it says that, in addition, Fiedler has been in contact with Rittenhouse's attorney, John Pierce, regarding the incident and has provided information she deems helpful to Rittenhouse's legal defense.
Actually, the only thing I ever sent was any kind of video that I had. That is it, which I didn't have much. I'm not a video person. So as far as verbal communication, no.
Did you provide video to the defendant's attorney?
I might have. I don't know if it was mine personally. I really don't remember because I don't even have it anymore.
But shortly after this incident, whether it was your video or someone else, you gave something to the defendant's attorney to help him. Fair enough?
Yes, I guess, yes.
And you don't have that video anymore.
No.
You didn't provide it to the FBI.
That's not true. I gave them everything I had.
You gave them that video?
I gave them everything I had. I showed them my phone. I showed them anything I had.
You gave them text messages.
I gave them everything I had. So when you say that I gave something to the defense attorney, I don't think that was my video. I think it was probably a video I seen or something I passed along because I didn't take any video.
So it's fair to say that whatever you gave to the defense, you were trying to help the defendant, correct?
Yes, I was trying to help the case, not just the defense.
And you have watched a lot of the videos that have been put out on the internet of this evening, correct?
That is not true.
Have you watched any of them?
Yeah, I've watched some of them, yes.
The reason I ask is because you reference these words that Joseph Rosenbaum allegedly said to you and the members of your group. That's not on any video anywhere, is it?
No.
So you are from West Bend, correct?
Yes.
You don't live here in Kenosha.
Nope.
You don't work here in Kenosha.
Nope.
You've never worked at CarSource.
Nope.
Never bought a car at CarSource.
Nope.
Probably had never even heard of CarSource before all this.
No, I haven't.
You came down here that night with no plan of where you were going to be, what businesses you were going to protect, or anything along those lines. Fair?
I personally had no plan, correct?
You were coming down with a group of other people from the West Bend area, correct?
Yes.
You knew there was a curfew in place that night.
Actually, I didn't.
You knew that they were closing off the on-ramps off the interstate so
Yes.
people couldn't come in from out of town to our community like you, correct?
Yes.
In fact, that's why you came down a little earlier, to try and beat that, didn't you?
No, that is not true.
You brought along a .380 pistol.
Yes.
You were going to use that to protect property.
And myself, yes.
How were you going to use that pistol to protect property?
Sometimes a presence speaks louder than a lot of things.
The presence of what?
The presence of having the gun and being there at the business.
Were you openly carrying the gun?
Yes, I was.
So you didn't have it in a holster or in a
I did
waistband?
have it, yeah, I'm sorry. It was on my side in a holster.
But you figured if people saw that, they'd be scared off.
Somewhat, like I said, it's a presence. It's knowing that somebody's in the area, on the ground, standing there. It's kind of a deterrent to keep them away from the business.
And you'd agree with me that the AR-15s that the rest of the group had was an even bigger deterrent, correct?
A gun is a gun.
And, well, a gun's not just a gun. How many guns are you familiar with in your life?
Quite a few. We grew up with them.
Including rifles,
Rifles, shotguns, yes. everything.
AR-15s?
Yes.
So you understand there's a big difference between an AR-15 and a pistol, correct?
Between an AR-15 and a pistol, yes.
There's a size difference. One's much bigger, correct?
They can all do the same thing.
One's much bigger, correct?
Size doesn't change what can happen or what it does.
Ma'am, did you hear my question?
Yes, it is much bigger, yes.
Can you please answer it?
I'm sorry, yes.
The AR-15 fires a different caliber than handguns, correct?
Yes.
It fires at a higher velocity, correct?
Yes.
It is capable of doing damage to a target much farther away than a
Yes.
pistol, correct?
Yes.
In fact, AR-15 rounds are capable of penetrating body armor, correct?
Oh, I did not know that. Okay.
So you followed this group of people coming down from the West Bend area to the 63rd Street CarSource, is that right?
Yes.
Before you got there, you had no idea where you were going, you didn't know anything about CarSource, anything like that. Fair to say?
Correct. Yes, correct.
You said at that time you met up with someone who identified themselves as the owner of that location?
Yes.
You personally didn't have any interaction with that owner, did you?
Yeah, I had a conversation with him.
Do you remember speaking with Steve Spingola, an investigator with regard to this incident?
I couldn't recall names, but
On September 8th, 2020, you had a phone call with him at about 5:30 p.m. Do you remember that?
no, I'm sorry, I don't recall what.
You said you've seen your statement to the FBI. Have you seen the statement that you gave to Investigator Spingola?
I guess not, no.
Let me, may I approach your honor?
Sure.
Well, I think you should first ensure that she acknowledges the conversation, because up to this point, she says she doesn't know if she had such a conversation, and
So I'm trying to help.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna show you. Ms. Fiedler, I'm going to hand you a document here. I'd like you to take a look at it. Take your time. And please let me know if you've ever seen that before. I'm not asking you if it's accurate, ma'am. I'm just asking if you've seen it before.
Well,
No, I've never seen this.
Okay, fair. That's answered my question. Thank you.
Yep.
You told this individual, Mr. Spingola, that you didn't have any interaction with the owner of CarSource that night, didn't you?
No, I don't even recall the conversation, and that's not true.
You decided that night that you were going to protect the location at 59th and Sheridan. Is that correct?
Well, that was decided for us, but yes, that was the end plan, yes.
Who decided that?
I believe that was the owner and Nick Smith.
That was the first time that night that you'd ever met Nick Smith?
Yes,
You didn't know anything about him before?
nothing.
And yet, based on his decision and the owner's decision, you agreed voluntarily to go to the 59th Street CarSource to protect it. Is that fair to say?
Yes, that's fair to say.
Nobody made you do that.
No, correct.
You indicated at one point that the defendant asked you to hold on to his gun while he was helping someone. Is that right?
Yes.
Hey, can we get that? Do we have it with us? The gun? Can you get it out, please? Do you recall how the defendant was wearing that gun that night?
He had the strap around his shoulder and body, and then the gun pointing down.
Is it fair to say that the gun was sort of hanging down the front of his body in the middle?
I think when he was walking, yeah, but I know when he was standing there, he would always have a hand across the front of it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm going to ask Detective Howard to hold on to that gun and show you. Check it again, please. Have you both confirmed that it is safe? Okay. Could you stand back a little bit, Detective Howard? I want you to be where the jury can all see you. Why don't you step a little bit this way? Ms. Fiedler, can you tell us in your own words, and I'll try and have Detective Howard sort of demonstrate, how was the defendant holding that AR-15 when he was on the 59th Street property, if you know?
Well, the strap was over his shoulder.
Okay.
Yep, around your neck.
Would the gun hang loose, or would he hold on to it?
Just like that.
Okay. So holding it with his right hand on the pistol grip,
Yes.
and sometimes holding it with his left hand or not? Depending?
That could be, I don't recall.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's how
But
he
when
was
it
holding it.
when it came time for him to help someone out, he took it off and asked you to hold on to it? Is that
Yes.
right? Okay. Thank you, Detective. You indicated that there was a time in which some females came to the property and were taunting you. Is that
Yes,
right?
Yes.
And you indicated that they were chanting Black Lives Matter at you?
Yes.
And you took that to be them taunting you?
No, they were saying other things.
Okay. You'd agree with me, though, the only thing you've told us so far is the words Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, but I could go into the whole story, but we'd be here for a while.
You also said that there was a man wearing yellow pants who jumped up on a car. Is
Yes.
that right? Was that one of the cars that was on the lot?
Yes.
And the members of your group told him to get off the car, didn't
Yes.
they? And in fact, pointed a gun at him while telling him to do that, correct?
He pointed his gun at us first.
Oh, the man in the yellow pants had a gun?
Yes, he had a gun. He
And
had
then-
a couple guns.
And then your group pointed guns back at him.
I don't know who pointed a gun at him. I don't know if they did or not. I didn't. I was busy watching my areas.
So you indicated earlier that you brought along your pistol to protect yourself and property. Is that right?
Yes.
How were you going to use it to protect property?
It is lawful to be armed while protecting one's property. It is not lawful to use deadly force in the protection of property. And it's important that we not get confused.
And I'm not trying to confuse the issue, Your Honor. I'm asking how she was planning on using the pistol to protect the property.
Judge, that's been asked and answered.
I don't believe. I was going to come back to it. How are you going to use that pistol to protect property?
Like I said, it's a deterrent.
You weren't planning on firing it to protect property, were you?
No,
You weren't planning on aiming it at anyone to protect property, were you?
no.
You indicated that Mr. Rosenbaum made some statements, and I'm not going to repeat them all, but you indicated that no one in your group responded to anything he said. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's very fair.
You said you pretty much have to ignore that, correct?
Yes,
It's fair to say you didn't consider him an actual threat to your safety at that moment, did you?
not for the distance and for the group that was around, no.
Mr. Lukowski characterized him as a babbling idiot. Would you agree with that?
I didn't hear him babbling, I just heard him, well, I don't know if babble's a good word, if I may. He was just bitching.
He was a little guy, right?
I thought he was like the same height I am, but
How tall are you?
I'm 5'4.5".
You said Mr. Rosenbaum's arm went up and he might have thrown something, but you have no idea what it was, correct?
Correct.
You were then asked about a period of time in which the Kenosha police pushed the crowd past the 59th Street location. Do you remember that part of the evening?
Yes.
And this is the time period when the defendant has gone south of 60th, and you said he tried to come back at one point, etc. You remember that time period in the evening?
Yes.
There were no protesters around 59th Street after the police pushed them back at that time, correct?
That's not totally true. There was an empty lot directly across the street from us, and there were protesters that were walking on the other side of the barricades. The police were screaming at them to get away from there, and they just kept walking through.
After the police pushed the crowd south of 60th, did any protesters come and stand in front of the 59th Street car source?
After they pushed them past
Yeah.
60, they didn't push them past 60, past the gas station.
Let me make sure I'm being clear here.
Okay.
Ms. Fiedler, I'm going to use the pointer here on the map behind you.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if you're familiar with this map, so let me,
Yes,
there's
please.
a location on the map that is marked car source, and that is on the southwest corner of 59th Street and Sheridan Road. You'd agree with me that that's the property that you were at the whole evening, correct?
That's south, the one you were pointing at?
I'm pointing, you can see where I'm pointing.
Yes.
That is on the southwest corner
Oh, I'm sorry.
of 59th Street and Sheridan Road.
Yes.
You'd agree with me that's the property you were at all evening, correct?
Yes.
And there's a time when the police move down Sheridan past that location south and establish a line of armored and police vehicles here across the intersection of 60th and Sheridan. Do you remember that?
Yes.
After that, no protesters come back to 59th Street, correct?
No, that's not true.
You talked about the time when people were walking through the pile of rubble. Is that right?
No, I didn't mention that.
What protesters came out and stood in front of 59th Street car source after the police pushed them past?
They didn't, well, the police also turned their Bearcats around and backed up, and all the protesters then came at us, and bricks were flying, bombs were flying, everything. They came at us with full force. That's why I had to go inside.
Okay. And I apologize. I probably have not explained myself properly. Let's go to the end of the evening. You remember the defendant coming back, the shootings, all that. Leading up into that, the few minutes before that, that was the second time that the police had pushed everybody down to 60th, correct?
Yes, correct.
I'm talking about that period of time, at the end. After that, when the police come by that final time, the protesters have all been cleared south of 60th, correct?
No.
You remember protesters around 59th Street car source after
We
that?
were pelted for almost the whole night from after the Bearcats backed up. They came and they bombarded us. And then they left again because we had come out again and they heard shootings and some other people had left. But then they came back at us and I was inside the building basically probably the rest of the evening.
You testified in response to one of the defense attorney's questions that you thought it was over when the police pushed the protesters south.
Correct. And they stopped there. That was before they had backed up. We had thought it was over.
Okay. So you talked about the defendant returning to the 59th Street car source location.
Yes.
Correct? Now let's be clear. You never saw any of the shootings in this case.
That's correct.
You don't have any personal knowledge about any of that stuff, fair to
No.
say?
Yep, none.
You've been asked about Mr. Rosenbaum. At that evening, you had no idea what his name was.
Correct.
You've described what you saw about him that night, correct?
Yes.
As you sit here today, you know there's a person by the name of Anthony Huber, correct?
Yes.
That night, you never saw him once, correct?
No, I don't. No, I have not.
Okay. You'd agree with me it's correct. You've never
Yes,
seen
I'm sorry. Yes, you're correct.
You know now, today, there's a person by the name of Gage Grosskreutz. Is that yes?
Correct.
That night, never saw him, had no idea who he was. Correct? You indicated that when the defendant returned to your location, he said to you that he had shot someone. Is that right?
Correct.
Meaning one person.
That's what someone is, I guess.
He never said to you he shot 3 people, did he?
No.
He never told you that any of those people had a gun, did he?
No, he didn't really describe anything about what had happened.
He never told you that any of those people threatened him in any way, did he?
Nope.
He never told you that any of those people had any weapons on them, did he?
No.
Correct?
Correct. I'm sorry, he did answer.
There came a time in which Nick Smith came back to that location and said the police were coming, correct?
Yes.
And after that, all of you got out of there, correct?
Not immediately.
In your FBI statement, you said, soon after, Nick came into the location and stated that police were coming to the building. Everyone then left the building. Correct?
No, I had to go get the guys off the roof.
But then everybody left, correct?
We came down and everybody else that was down there previously was gone, yes.
Including the defendant,
Yes.
after hearing that police were coming, correct?
I thought they left with Nick. I didn't know.
I have nothing further.
I just have a couple questions for you, man.
Okay.
You were asked about Mr. Rosenbaum, and there was questions about how you would describe him and how others had described him. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever have any direct contact with Mr. Rosenbaum?
No, it was just that when we were standing at the 59th Street, just seeing him when Yellow Pants was jumping on the car.
So Mr. Rosenbaum had never directed, if I'm right, had he ever directed any threat specifically to you?
No, not specifically to me.
Had he ever physically ran after or chased you?
No.
When you said that you were being harassed, or I think that's the word you used.
Taunted.
Taunted, sorry. What were some of the things they were saying to you?
They were calling me out. Come on, Blondie. Come on out here. Not so tough. Put your gun down. Yep. As soon as I didn't give them their power sign, they just got a little bit more aggressive because they were actually kind of friendly at first. Everything was very friendly at first.
When you, Mr. Binger said you never actually saw Mr. Rosenbaum throw anything. Remember him asking or saying that?
Yes, I remember.
Okay. Is this fair? After you saw his arm move, did you see a gas bomb explode?
I believe that it landed on the roof. I don't know because immediately, like, the eyes started watering, the noses started running. So I can't say that I saw anything like that, no.
And Mr. Binger was asking you questions about you never, what Mr. Rittenhouse didn't say when he got into the building, right? He didn't tell you specifics about what happened. Is that true?
Correct.
But he did say that he had to do it. Is that right?
Yes.
I don't have anything else.
Any question?
No, Your Honor.
You may step down, ma'am.